Hi, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and welcome to Cup of Joe with Joe, where the maker takes his French vanilla with cream. Today we're going to be talking to Mayor and Councilman Woodruff about the Union County succession, because it's on the ballot. It's a referendum on November 5th, and you, the members, the constituents here in Berkeley Heights, have to really understand this concept because you're going to be voting on it. So, Mayor, what's the inside track on the Union County succession? Is it important? Is it beneficial for Berkeley Heights?
Well, it is extremely important that we hear from all the voters in the November election. We have it on the ballot as a referendum question, and it really is up to the voters to decide, do they want to remain in Union County or would they want to go to Morris County? And why is it important to us? Last year, we hit a $15 million tax bill for Union County, and we went up a little over a million, almost $1.5 million.
In a year?
In 1 year. 1 year's increase. And, you know, the way the county spends money is really their decision. We're not going to change that, but at least the members of the council feel that it is exorbitant for us to pay that for the kind of services we get. We're not a taker, we're a giver. Mm-hmm. We have our own police, our own DPW, our own sewer department. So really, you know, in a catastrophe, we do draw from the county as every other town does. But that's about the only time we do draw, and it's very, very expensive for us to be part of Union County.
Sure. So Councilman Woodruff, thanks for helping us tonight. Now, the mayor mentioned Morris County. Why not Somerset?
Well, we looked at the numbers, both as to Morris and Somerset County. From a tax saving standpoint, we have a greater opportunity for savings with Morris County than we will with Somerset. Now,
better for the town.
Better for the town. Now, how that comes about is we are contiguous, meaning Berkeley Heights is contiguous to both of those counties. Mm-hmm. We're one of the few towns that, probably in the county that are contiguous to two separate counties. So we've looked at that. The savings would probably be anywhere from 45 to 48% in Morris County, and maybe something around 30%. That would be a savings to a taxpayer. Wow.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's not small dollars. I think it might break down to anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 per family in town. And I guess the decision.
Savings? Wait a minute.
Savings. Correct.
Wait a minute. If we succeed from Union County, everybody will save on their tax bill approximately how much?
It would be anywhere from $1,500 to close to $3,000.
Depending on your property.
Depending on your property.
That's a big chunk of change. We're talking more than a Starbucks, definitely.
Well, yes, and as the mayor and I have said, you know, repeatedly through this, there are a lot of efforts that all towns make to save money. All right, and we talk about things like combining certain services and so on and so forth. But when it's all said and done, it has a negligible, if any real effect on an individual's tax dollar. So at some point in time, you've got to do something bold. And I think at this point in time, all things considered, the boldest move you can make is the one we're considering, and we're asking the people of this town to carefully consider it via referendum in 2 weeks.
Okay. So how does this referendum work then, Mayor? You said it's coming up on the ballot. What happens?
It'll be question number 3 on this year's election ballot. And we ask everybody to pay attention to question number 3 and vote your conscience. You know, I know how the council feels. I know how I feel. I know how the people, friends of mine, feel. But we really do need to know how everybody feels about it.
So the pros are going to save a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Are there any cons? I mean, you're talking about conscience. We were talking about money over here. Now we're talking about conscience. So let's, emotionally, is there a tie to Union County? Do we have an emotional tie to Union County? Is that would prevent us from not looking at this from a fiscal perspective and saving us money?
No, fiscal perspective overrides all our emotional ties. I mean, we've been part of Union County since its inception. Sure. So there's about a 100-year history between Berkeley Heights and Union County. In fact, at one point, all the towns that we know of in this area, New Providence and Summit, were all part of Berkeley Heights. And they seceded from us and formed their own towns. But it was all, we were the initial part of Union County. So there's an emotional tie there. And again, it's what you're used to. You were used to being part of Union County. Mm-hmm. But when you look at across the river in Chatham, that's Morris County. Yeah. You know, if you go down Springfield Avenue when it changes to Valley Road in Sterling, and Long Hill, that's Union County. So we do have partners in those counties too. And again, the services we would get from Morris County would be similar, if not exactly the same. So as Councilman Woodruff said, there was a big savings of anywhere from $1,400–1,500 to $3,000. Our perspective is it's better in the taxpayer's pocket.
Sure.
I know I can do more with $1,300 than Union County can with $1,300. So
What services are in jeopardy? Seriously, what services are in jeopardy if we were to succeed?
there are services in jeopardy. Let's say, well,
What might we lose that
well,
we
we
have
have-
to scramble to fix? I mean, I know we don't know for sure, but
We have
what
a-
do we get from the county? Let's put it that way.
we get the county helps us with the maintenance of county parks, which we would get that from Morris County. The county helps us during the snowstorms by plowing the county roads. We would get that from Morris County, and they do a good job with it.
That's a question of debate, you know that.
Well, depending on where you live, we get we get assistance with the chipper program. So there are some things we get. Of course, we pay for all those services and then some with our $15 million contribution. So on an annual basis. So those are the things we get. I don't see the detriment of what we're losing. There's things that the one question I got today in the mail was. With the send-receive relationship with Mountainside being in effect. No, that's an agreement between the two school boards.
So GL won't get affected.
GL wouldn't get affected at all. So that's taken out of the equation. And Runnels Hospital would still be Runnels Hospital, a county hospital in Berkeley Heights. They could sell it, which I wish they would, but if they want to maintain it, that's fine too. So I don't see any detriments. That again, as we said, we're not a taker, we're a giver, and so we think it's in our best interest to give a little less there and join Morris County.
So there's a vote coming up. We need how many people, Councilman, to get this referendum to pass? And what happens when it does pass? Is it a percentage of the voters? Is it a percentage of the population? What does it take to get this to pass? And then what happens after that?
It's a straight up or down.
Okay.
And then following, what happens is we would then reach out to, in this instance, Morris County. At that point in time, the county, meaning what would be the receiving county, they do their due diligence. I've had very informal discussions.
So we already have some discussions already.
Very informal, because quite candidly, they can do nothing formal as a matter of law until this entire process plays out, which is appropriate.
Makes sense.
And they have to sit and decide whether or not it's appropriate for them, all things considered, to have us join them. Now, they may sit there and come up with reasons why it's inappropriate for them.
Okay.
Right? It's possible. I mean, we can't control what they're going to do.
Sure.
We can only make our pitch and make a describe who we are, what we are as a town, and as the mayor has said, we like to think of ourselves really as a non-taking town, and that is we're not bringing a burden. We're bringing a town that has its own sewage plant that assists other towns.
Sure.
We have a library. All right. Now, Morris County has a countywide library system, which is different than what we do here in Union County.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, in a sense, we're bringing yet another annex, if you would, from a library standpoint, to the county of Morris, and how they would deal with that would certainly be up to them. Like I said, the very informal discussions I've had with individuals, they appreciate the system, they appreciate what has to be done, but some of them are excited.
So referendum passes, straight up or down. So if 3 people vote and 2 say yes, it passes.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, straight numbers.
Straight numbers.
So once it passes, then what happens?
Well, then we've got, then it goes down to Trenton. Ultimately, it goes to Trenton. Now, we'd reach out to Morris County and say, obviously, they know of our interest, but we tell them of our interest formally. But then it goes to Trenton, and here is where the politics comes into play, all right? The mayor and I and the rest of the council have consistently through this entire process acknowledged that it's not an easy process, that there are politics involved. And quite candidly, when this proposal was put forward by myself 6-8 months ago, the political landscape wasn't completely set. I mean, we weren't necessarily sure what this next election was going to bring. But if this next election brings a substantial Chris Christie victory and a change in the Assembly and the Senate, which aren't that far off, if in fact that occurs, well, now you've got a real circumstance where it becomes somewhat of a possibility. It really does, because now we've got, as I'm sure the mayor can tell you, we've got the support of our state senator and our Assemblywoman Munoz and Assemblyman Bramnick. They are in favor of this.
So the bottom line is it's got to get the referendum first. Beyond the politics at the state level, let's get our ducks in order.
Correct.
And let's decide we want to do it. Because it really is not it's a bipartisan, this is a bipartisan thing right here for us.
I would hope so.
It's all about just Berkeley Heights. It strictly is.
It absolutely is a bipartisan. We've been told by some members of the county, especially the county spokesperson, that it's he loves using the P's, petty political ploy. And it really isn't about politics. It's more about finance. And we would expect that Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, and liberals would vote for this because it's in their best interest to keep that money in their pocket so they can do what they want to do with it. Yeah. If you want to give to causes, you have about $1,400 to $3,000 more to give to causes, and by the way, tax deductible to you. So, it is a. It's a good thing, and we need as many people. We need a big majority. I mean, as the councilman said, a simple up or down, 50% plus one wins it for us. But we really want to show people that it is time for a change in not only Union County but the state. It's just getting too affordable for people to stay and do business here. And if we don't change, we're destined for failure.
What kind of pushback is Union County? Let's assume the referendum passes. What kind of pushback can we expect from Union County? They got to do something, I would think, to stop this in its tracks. What kind of pushback can we expect? What have they been doing?
Well, we only have a little more than 2 weeks left before the election, and I haven't heard any pushback yet. So, not saying that it's not going to happen, but again, it is this is the first step. I'm sure if and when we are successful, we'll start getting pushback, and the pushback will be, look what we've done for Berkeley Heights, and they gave us a nice park in Snyder Avenue, tune of about $12–13 million, and it's a beautiful park, but we paid $15 million last year, so I think it was a little more. Yeah. So there's going to be look what we've done and things like that. Let's face it, we are a giving community, and we are a contributor. It's going to hurt Union County, but the spending process there has brought this on themselves because things like Galloping Hill Country Club, the ice rink, Runnels Hospital, the thing about the Union County cars and vehicles, all these things that have been brought to light recently. Just tells you that they've got to do a much better job in spending the taxpayers' money.
So, if I understood the mayor correctly, he's telling me that there's public disclosure of where Union County funds go, and it's been in places that aren't directly to benefit the people?
Well,
or not to benefit us?
I think we've repeatedly taken a position that we're not going to tell the county how to run their business because, quite candidly, they're not going to listen to us anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fine. The mayor has pointed to certain issues in the county which have caused all of us major concern, and in fact should cause all citizens, no matter what their political affiliation or concern. I note that within the last couple months I saw an article that the county was very proud of itself that it did not lay anybody off or did not decrease anybody's salary, but they also raised our taxes $1.3 or $4 million. Well, let's put ourselves within our own homes. If somebody was around to give us extra money, we don't have to make any sacrifices either. So I looked at that and thought, well, in a way, we all know there's only one governmental entity that can print money, that's the federal government. Where does the county go for its money? It comes to Berkeley Heights, it comes to Summit, it comes to Mountainside, it comes to New Providence. We're in effect just producing money for them whenever they want it. So, and like I said, I don't wish to see anybody lose their job or anybody necessarily.
That's not the point.
But the point is, you're turning around and raising our taxes almost 7% from the county, almost 7%. Well, we all know we have to operate at 2%.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah.
So we sit there and go, where do we go for our relief?
Well, we're the cash cow.
Yep.
You know, I don't know about you guys, but I need a cup of coffee. I'm going to have a sip of my cup. But anyway, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned because we really want to hammer this out. What's in it for Berkeley Heights and why you want to vote number 3, yes, on November 3rd. Gentlemen, let's take a short break and have some coffee. We'll be right back.
A new crop of players has been voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. While you might assume his 13 trips to the Pro Bowl, 38 career records, and 3 Super Bowl rings are what made San Francisco 49ers star receiver Jerry Rice a shoo-in for the Hall, he says you can also credit his chiropractor.
My first experience with chiropractic care was right before the 49ers were to play the Bengals in Super Bowl 23. A couple of our players were injured, and a chiropractor turned things around.
Rice, who says a chiropractor helped him weather countless bone-crushing hits, also spent time with the Raiders, Seahawks, and Broncos. Today, he's a spokesperson for the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to increasing public awareness of chiropractic care. He even credits such care for helping him succeed in what some have humorously called his second career, performing on Dancing with the Stars. For more information, visit yes2chiropractic.org.
Welcome back to A Cup of Joe with Joe. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and of course, the mayor's here, Mayor Joe Bruno, and Councilman Woodruff is also with us. And it's all about the Union County succession. And, you know, I'm glad we had some coffee because I got a little anxious. I had to take a little break when I found out about Galloping Hill Mayor. I had no idea that the Union is in the catering business.
Yeah, it was a golf course in Kenilworth, and
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and if you drive by the Garden State Parkway, you'll see a beautiful catering hall that's on the golf course now, and I believe it was a $25 million bond that went to refurbish that. So you know, again, gorgeous place. Probably will make some money sometime, if not now. But should the county and should public money be spent on golf courses? Is that what government is for? I don't think so, and that's just my personal opinion, and I hope the voters share it with me.
Sure, sure. So if we have a nice, strong turnout and the referendum passes nicely, that'll show not just a positive vote, a yay vote, but it shows a vote of solidarity. So as we move forward, that should be very important.
Yes. Yes, we need to show that the people of Berkeley Heights want to save money. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that the other towns in the area aren't doing it this year with us, but there was a lot of interest in other towns because we went up $1.5 million in taxes. Summit went up over $2 million, I think $2.3 million. And so between the two of us, it's about a $3.8 million swing increase in taxes. And I know there's people in Summit because I hear from people all around the area that are cheering us on and seeing how we do. So we're going to pave the way.
I hope so. So Councilman, how does our freeholder feel about this? Our representative here at Berkeley.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is there is no representative per se. In other words, there are no districts in this county. It's an at-large kind of approach. All right, so there are 9 freeholders, and I believe they come from 6 towns, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait a minute. We don't have a representative of the Union County freeholders who lives in Berkeley Heights?
No, we don't. Nor is there one that lives in New Providence, nor is there one that lives in Summit, nor is there one that lives in Westfield. So,
gentlemen, I see a pattern here.
Right.
I see a pattern here, gentlemen.
Well,
what was that in 1776? Representation
right.
without taxation without representation?
That's correct. And what happens here? There are in many states and where you have freeholders. You'll have freeholders from districts and then an at-large. Okay, so that's been suggested many times by individuals out here, and it's fallen on deaf ears. So we don't have someone that we believe is looking out for the best interests of this particular area. We need to determine what the makeup of towns around us are similar to us. All right, who will we like? What are our values? For example, as the mayor says, we don't necessarily think that it's good fiscal sense for the county to be running a golf course and building literally a Taj Mahal, okay, which is being run by a private entity. So if the county's going to get into it, why isn't the county running it? Now, when you start to get private entities into things with government owning it, then to me, there's a potential for exposure there. and problems.
Yeah.
Okay?
You can tell this guy's an attorney. I call it kickbacks. He calls it exposure.
Well, I'm not, speaking to that directly. What I'm saying is that,
Well, that's okay. I can. I'm not an
Yes, you
attorney,
can.
and I'm
Yes,
not
you
on the
can.
council.
Yes, you can. But why would a county government that has that's a steward of the taxpayers' funds or citizens' funds, why would they put themselves in that position? It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. All right. It's just I don't see how the public benefits from that. I really don't.
Mayor, I gotta commend you because I think you really tied it all together. We just have a different perception on where we should put our effort and spend our money. It's not that it's right or wrong, even though I intonated it may not be. We just don't agree, and we can agree to disagree that we can spend our money better in other ways.
That's basically it. I kid around sometimes. I say there's so many hands in my pocket, there's no room for my own hands when it comes to government spending. But when you look at the problems in the Union County, and for that matter, the state of New Jersey, we're in trouble. We really are. I mean, we're in trouble because there are people that are being forced to make decisions on where they want to live in their golden years because New Jersey is becoming unaffordable. And why is it becoming unaffordable? Because we have towns, counties, and state government, and we're duplicating a lot of effort. So, something has to happen. Something has to give, and it can't be business as usual. I think it was Einstein who said, if you're going to do things the same way, why would you expect the same results? You're a scientist. A plus B equals C. If you want to equal D, you don't keep mixing A plus B. And we've been doing that since the Revolutionary War. And people want to know what the problem is. Well, that's a problem. Yeah. Change what you're doing. So, this council is taking the bold effort of saying we want to do something different. And we want to control what government spends the money. Let me give you for instance. We have a hospital here in Berkeley Heights, Runnels Hospital, specialized hospital, great facility, owned by the county. Loses $17 to $20 million a year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's published in the paper. They agreed to that number. There are hospital corporations in and around our area that want to purchase that. So if you sell it, you take a $17 to $20 million drain, and now you make it a rateable, a positive. So with the stroke of a pen, you take a draw, something that you're losing money on, and you make money on. I mean, this isn't rocket science. This is Finance 101, and I heard now that they're trying to sell it. But I've heard that for the last 3 or 4 years. So, pull the trigger and sell it.
Yeah.
So,
now, let's say we move to Morris County. What happens to Runnels Hospital? Does that stay part of Union County because they kind of own it, or does that come with us?
That would be something that would have to be worked out between the two counties. I think that legitimately would. But if in fact they do sell it and they get out of the hospital business, you got to remember though,
we get tax rateables.
We get a tax rateable, correct, as does whatever county we're in. Mm-hmm. But you've got to remember, it's very difficult for the county to wean themselves from these kinds of projects because, why? Because they are employment centers, okay? The people that vote for them get the jobs. Now, the Runnels may have 400 or 500 employees, all right? So those are 400 or 500 employees, the majority of which I would venture to guess probably have a political affiliation that is similar to that of the freeholders. And it's very difficult to wean yourself off of that.
That's a pretty eye-opening statement. Basically, look, I'm not a politician. I'm on the council. But what that says to me is that these guys are buying jobs with our money, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It's a concern.
I don't like that at all.
And I'm not necessarily saying that's unique to this county in this circumstance with Runnels, but we can't be naive.
Yeah.
All right, we can't be naive. They control the purse strings, they control the access to these places from a standpoint of jobs, and their position is why not give it to those who support them? Yeah. And I understand that.
And that could be why somebody may not be in favor of this.
Correct.
That could be exactly why somebody be like, I don't want to be in favor of this because I work at Runnels or because I have a relationship with the county.
Absolutely. And
that makes sense.
That makes sense. If somebody lives in Berkeley Heights but works for the county, I can understand their own self-interest. I can appreciate that completely. Yeah. And I don't, wouldn't hold it against them. None of us would hold it against them if they took a position contrary to ours. Yeah. But that's not our job. Our job is to look at the overall impact to all the citizens of the town, no matter where they happen to work.
Sure.
And to me and to Mayor Bruno and to the rest of the council, this is a no-brainer.
Is this supported unanimously by the council?
Unanimous.
Okay, so that's good. You know, we mentioned, you know, really, this is really about informing the township, informing the citizens. So with that in mind, yes, we could see somebody may not want to vote for this because they have a relationship with the county. Mayor, any other reason or any other reasons that you have heard people saying, no, I can't support it other than that?
I really haven't had no other reasons outside of concerns of the county facilities. You know, how much would it cost us to either buy out of it or pay for it? And quite frankly, I wish I had the answer to that question, but I don't, because the county and the state will not even engage us unless we pass the referendum. Because if we don't pass the referendum, this is all mute. This is all falls apart. So once the referendum, if the referendum, I'm going to say once the referendum passes, then we start engaging. It's a non-binding referendum. We don't. There's no payments, no money being laid out. It costs us nothing to vote on the 5th. So we encourage people to do that. Once we get that, then we'll start the process. And we've all said if for some reason it becomes cost prohibitive for us to do it, we won't do it, because that's the whole object, is to save us money. So if it's going to cost us a ton of money, we would engage it. But right now, I don't see that we have to pay the county anything. You know, we went through disillusionment of the school district when we dissolved the school district, and we didn't pay the county anything for Governor Livingston. In fact, we got money from Governor Livingston, and the other towns that didn't have a school got more money because they didn't have a facility. So, you know, we've paid for it. It's not like these were gifts. We've paid for this in our taxes since 1789. You know, so again, I think we're owed something.
So let's just kind of bring it back together here. Correct me if I'm wrong. The referendum's coming up on November 5th, and it's non-binding.
Non-binding.
And once it passes, there's no cost to do the vote or to do the due diligence and to investigate how much our savings would be.
That's correct.
So there's no cost to anybody in town.
No, it's just the effort of the council and individuals who the council authorized.
But it's not going to raise taxes or anything.
No, any cost associated would be the job of the legislature, because that's the, I guess, the judicial body who's going to say yes or no. And I think they're the ones that would make the case saying, you know, this is going to be done and you know, what have you. But until that time comes, there's no cost.
So we got to get the referendum, then we can do due diligence, find out how much we would save and who would take us, and if anybody will take us.
Correct.
And then we'll be able to then present it to the legislature for then all the legalese, voting in the Trenton and the Assembly and all that. But we can't even think about that until it's on the referendum and the citizens give us a yay.
Yep, let's be clear, the referendum does say our desire to go to Morris County.
Okay.
So that's our desire, and that's what's on the referendum.
All right.
Because it would be the
best one.
the best place to go, the best pairing for our citizenry.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it's a very, very simple question. Do you want to
check it out.
secede and to one county and be annexed by another county and do all the due diligence to the legislature?
Reminds me of what they say in the street, try before you buy, right?
That's
So we can
that's
try
true.
before you buy. Mayor, we got one more minute to go.
Okay.
What do you want to tell everybody? November 5th?
Well, November 5th, yeah, it's important that you come out and vote for question 3. Questions do not, sometimes don't get answered. This is an important one. We need to know how you feel. Again, you know, there's an expression in Texas that says, you know, I have a dog in this fight. I have a dog in this fight, but, you know, it's not up to Joe Bruno or Bob Woodruff. It's up to you to vote and let us know what you want. And then we live with the consequences. If you vote to stay in Union County, you will live with the cost of taxes. If you want to secede from Union County, we need to get started and we need to know how you feel. So November 5th, question 3, you vote the way your heart tells you to vote. I'm voting yes.
Councilman Woodruff, it's your baby, it's your idea. How much are people going to save?
Well, anywhere from $1,500 to perhaps $3,000 a family. And I echo what the mayor has said. On November 5th, get out there and vote. Let everyone know what our position is with respect to not only taxes, but in a way we're also saying we want good government. We want government that is fiscally prudent. We want government that that people can trust. We've had our issues with Union County. Other towns have had their issues with Union County. This is the citizens of this town, Berkeley Heights' opportunity to let that be known.
Gentlemen, great show. Mayor, if people need to contact you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
jbruno@bhtwp.com.
All right, that's it. We're finishing our coffee. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. It's been a Cup of Joe with Joe. Councilman Woodruff, Mayor Bruno, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we will look forward to seeing everybody at the polls. Make sure, number 3, vote yes. Let's give it a chance. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio.